Devotion, daring, and deeds. Would you please welcome Barry Lewis Green?
2015. I remember Nicole and I, my team manager, sitting down at the beginning of this year and doing a vision board. How many people here have ever done a vision board? Okay, it's a cool concept. Put your vision out there, work towards it. How many people have ever had something happen in their lives that they didn't see coming? Okay? So if you were back here in May, you would have had to endure me speak, dedicating to the memory of my mother, who passed away in April. And that was a tough time because Mom and I had a very powerful, connected relationship, and suddenly, where was the person I'm supposed to take care of? Because that's what I spend a lot of time doing. But, you know, life goes on and you do that sort of thing. And this evening's about entrepreneurship in various forms. And my understanding of the word entrepreneur is that it originates from the French. I think George Bush once said, why don't the French pick their own word besides entrepreneur? True story. But it means to undertake, to take on something. And so back on August 20th of this past year, several months after Mom passed, I had a dizzy spell, or I thought it was dizzy spell. And so I go in to emergency the next day, and after 5 hours waiting for a CAT scan, the specialist or doctor comes out and sits on the gurney with me and says, Mr. Green, you've got blood on the brain. Now, this is a dude that spent most of his freaking life believing in a virtue called invincibility. You know, everybody's sick, but I'm supposed to take care of everybody. That's what I do. And suddenly, woof, there it is. And what I'm going to share right now, even my closest circle really don't know. This has been a struggle. But as I reminded somebody today, when somebody's battling demons, they're battling them. They haven't given in to them. And as somebody who has considered himself very confident, very capable, suddenly I got something that's saying, I can't even see what's going on. People are asking me, how you doing? I don't know, because I don't know what's going on in here. And on top of that, the medical community, who I deeply respect, love, and cherish, and we need science in our lives, thank you very much, can't tell me what's wrong. They're asking me, do you play rugby? You know, because they think it's a head injury from that, because I got no high blood pressure, got none of the symptoms, nothing, no causal factors. But I will tell you this, for a guy who thought he was claustrophobic, I've now done 2 CAT scans and an MRI, and I'm okay with it. They still don't know what's going on, but here's where I want to go with this. This is not a story about what's going on in my head, because nobody in this room, including myself, knows. And the truth of the matter is, every day we get up, we don't know what's coming. So let me share with you the challenges, the battles that I have been experiencing, that I bet you I am no different from anyone else in this room. I am not the expert on doing battle. My dearest spiritual sis in Vancouver and I had a conversation. And we were talking very shortly after this diagnosis. And Alan Tsui from Glass Tiger had a full-on stroke same day as me. I'm on Facebook in the hospital finding out that he can't write or sing, and that's his trade. So I'm comparing notes. I'm starting to feel gratitude in some ways because guess what? My symptoms are fairly minimal. They still haven't figured out what's wrong. But where I'm going with this is that my friend Lisa reminded me, because, you know, I make no apology. Like, I believe in God. I don't believe in a man in the frickin' sky. I don't believe in a super Santa Claus. I believe in the Force. You know what I'm saying? But it's sentient. And it knows. And sometimes it knows better than I do. That's what I've had to learn. So, she reminds me at the time that, you know what? God didn't stop you. He didn't even slow you down. Because if I didn't tell you I had blood in the brain, nobody in this room would know. But what he has reminded me to do, or she has reminded me to do, or it has reminded me to do, is to focus. To cut away some of the stuff. How many people in this room, by a show of hands, are constantly distracted by requests from other people, and you maybe even feel guilty for actually saying no? Anybody ever had that, show of hands? Get caught up with doing the stuff that everybody else expects you to do because you're supposedly really good at it and all that kind of stuff, and it appeals to your ego because you are Superman or Superwoman. But she so powerfully reminded me that this is about humility. And humility is true confidence. And humility gets you to focus. It gets you to decide, what am I here for? One of my favorite authors of all time, Richard Bowles, who wrote What Color's Your Parachute, said, you want to find out what you are here for? It's in your members. And what he said is, whatever you absolutely lose yourself in doing, that's what you should be doing. If it's music, if it's dance, if it's... Is there anybody in the room wondering what's up with the gloves? Yeah. Anybody? Yeah. Do you know in the 90s, I taught line dancing in this city 5 nights a week. And these were my tools. Because when they came on, so did my hands. And I didn't teach line dancing to country music, because no offense, I'm not a country music fan. I taught it to hip-hop, rap, dance, and heavy metal. And my God, the best song ever to line dance to is Enter Sandman by Metallica. It is wicked. Here's where I'm going with this. I've got a couple minutes left. Over the last few months, I have rediscovered my love for writing. My passion for writing the crafted word. I don't care if I'm any good at it. I know I love it. I don't love it to get a number of likes. I love it because I love it. And if nobody likes what I write, I still love it. I am devoid of a connection with outcome when I write. I'm the same way when I sing. I'm the same way when I work with kids. I love every kid on this planet. I don't have any children, except 3 billion. I'm not a guy who's got it figured out. I'm just a guy who gives a damn. And where I'm going with this is that just this afternoon, Nicole and I had the benefit, the pleasure of working with 5 educators at a local school in my house where we do Virtues Project facilitator training. And it's such a conversation. And I'm in a room full of people who are devout about and devoted to education and working with kids. And one of the teachers had to facilitate a little exercise. She had us write letters to ourselves. And as I wrote this letter, I realized what I was going to talk about tonight. And I trusted my instincts. When I wrote that letter to myself, I realized, you want to be an entrepreneur? Doesn't mean you got to open a business. Doesn't mean you got to do anything except go find what you frickin' do and serve the world doing it. And it don't matter how much you make, so long as you pay the bills, so long as you can keep the wolves away from the door. But if you undertake, you're an entrepreneur. And my suggestion to you, and I mean this from the bottom of my humble heart this evening, find what you love to do. On your desks, you will find a small picture of a guy who looks like he should be running for Movember. The name is Lawrence Purcell Jacks. It's one of my favorite quotes. I can't quote it, but you should read it. He basically says the master in the art of living essentially is that person who you can't tell when they're working or playing because they love everything they do and they bring their absolute best. For the last 10 minutes, you've brought your absolute best by giving me the grace of listening to me. I hope in some small way I've given you the same. Peace.